Anyway, let's get on with it. Okay, to kick off with is our list of ingredients. For this you need flour, margarine or lard or whatever. We're going to use some food colouring in this, and just turn that down. Also we got mincemeat and rasperys and fresh cream. Not to mention blueberries, which I forgot to get out of the fridge earlier. Got blueberries for this as well. So let's get on with it. What you want to do with this is make your pastry base, and it's usual routine for this. It's about 125 grams of flour. I won't bother weighing it out. And you can either use lard or, in this case, margarine, because I don't have any lard. To find a recipe for pastry making, just go on to one of my other videos and that'll describe how to do it. In the meantime, let's get on with it. As I say, it's Britania Fruit Pie because it consists of mincemeat and blueberries and I'll go over that again because this camera keeps cutting out. It consists of mincemeat, blueberries, whipped cream and strawberries, and it's variably in the colours red, white and blue. That's why it's called Britania Fruit Pie. Skipped over a bit where we had to make pastry because I've described it so many times, and I mentioned food colouring earlier on, so you can add some food colouring to your pastry mix and it tones it a sort of bluey, sort of white, streaks of blue and white, and it makes it look a bit nicer. And this needs a bit of firming up. Add a bit more water, just knead it through like that. Usual method with pastries, knead and fold, it's like your mum used to do, knead and fold, and that should be ready. Right, let's roll it out, and as usual I don't have a rolling pin, I'm just using a metal flask, cover that in flour. It's quite a thick wadgy pastry is this, so what I'm hoping to do is make a pie plus, if you will, some additional satellite pies, some smaller pies. The thing is with raspberries is they have a really short shelf life, they have a short sell-by date when you buy them, so it's important to use your ingredients up quickly, and then by cooking them you're sort of preserving them. So that's nice and flat. You don't want your pastry too thin, just nice and flat, and it's tanged over with, streaked over with blue. Yeah, I've done such a great job as food dye on pastry. It's probably a more technical element to it. So you want your pastry nice and flexible like that, and I'm going to try and get this a bit thinner because it's a bit thick at the moment, so it needs some additional rolling. Making pastries, easiest thing in the world really. Don't take much doing, backwards and forwards. And what I'm using is, I'm using an old pan lid. I know it's a bit cheap, but it's easier. And just lay it over whatever your dish or pan lid or whatever you're using, and mindful to trim it off afterwards. We can use this excess to make roll it out again and make a few smaller pies. And I've done quite a few blogs where I've made pastry, so if you need to know how to do that, you can just refer back. Just trim that off. As you can see, it shrinks back, which is a bit annoying. A bit so much elasticity. Oh, I can just crimp edges of that. Shrink it back. This is an open top affair as well. So first ingredient to lay over that is your mincemeat base, and it's just ordinary supermarket mincemeat. But if you want to be a bit fussy with this, you can add a bit of jam as well. Add a bit of jam beforehand. With a proper camera for this job, it keeps switching itself off. So if you just lay jam on top, smooth your jam over. This is cheap supermarket frozen stuff. I'll tell you what, we'll be here for a month of Sundays with that, we'll just leave it like that. When you lay your mincemeat on, you get any left over, you can make mince pies. You might benefit from warming this stuff up in a pan beforehand, because it's coming out of a jar, it's quite stiff, so a good idea might be to warm it up beforehand. If you really want to make it more pliable. You need to get a good decent covering of mincemeat. That should just about do it. The next element to this is lacing round edges. Or putting your blue and white pastry around edges. And I don't think we're going to have enough for any additional mince pies at this point. Never mind. So just place that around edges. Pastry's got a nice blue colour apparently. It's a bit, using faux colouring with pastry is a bit hit and miss, but it's got a nice blue colouring, which is what we were aiming for. I'll put a nice cross piece in the middle. So what you end up with is something like that. Sort of design like that. You can call it a design. Okay, next thing to do is to sink your blueberries in. It might help to wash these as well beforehand. Wash your blueberries before you put them in. And just cut them in half. And just put them on edges, or you don't have to necessarily have to cut them in half. And just line edges with blueberries. I really need a decent camera for this job. It doesn't show up so well on this one. It's got that sort of look of a Victorian dessert about it, this, which I'm quite pleased about. And it's, as with all my recipes, it's fairly simple to make, and we just put some down centre. And that's what you end up with once you put your blue. Okay, now we're ready for putting it in oven. It should take about half an hour, this, on gas mark 4 in oven. What you do then is, most important step with this is to let it cool down before you put your cream on, because obviously your cream will melt. So I'll put this in oven for now, and we'll get it in oven for half an hour now, and that's the end result. One thing you've got to do before putting your cream on is you've got to let it cool so your cream don't melt prematurely. And what I've done here is I've added some, you can see that, blue food colouring to cream, and now we've got blue cream to go with Britania theme. And all you do then is just ladle it on there over one half. Just to go with red, white and blue theme. Then other half at pie wants to be red, white and blue. We'd have it had a decent camera as well. So I need a separate bowl for that. I'm going to use a pan instead. Dispense with saucepan and just use container. Over half at pie, just spoon some white cream over other half. This is just ordinary cream. It's a creme fraiche, whatever we like to call it. You can get it for about £1 for a container like that at the supermarket. So then you've got both halves of your pie covered, and as I said earlier, we don't have any strawberries to carry out a red theme to this, which is a bit of a bummer. Anyway, I got some raspberries for it. And all you do is put them on outside edge like that. Now ideally you'd want strawberries for this, but there's no rule that says you can't use raspberries. It is a fairly patriotic dish, so we'd like a red, white and blue theme. So instead of strawberries, we've got to introduce some red. And there it is with raspberries on. So, where's the red? What we're going to do is get a pot of jam. Hopefully what passes for a clean spoon. And here's where a bit of improvised artistry comes in. Very gently place tip end of spoon, you can see that, tip end of spoon. I'll just angle this in a bit better so you can see it. The old Union flag. Incidentally, on my way to B&Q this morning, up near Ring Road, I happened to pass a lot of edges. Normally you pass a lot of edges and that, and there's blackberries or other raspberries growing long edge rows, and you can find them anywhere basically, and you can pick them. So there's basically no need to buy them. Oh, you need to give them a really good wash though, but I think they're about a fortnight from being in season, because some aren't in full bloom yet. Some of these raspberries on bushes, or whatever you call them, blackberries. They're not in full bloom yet, so I'd like to wait a week or two, or a day or two, and pick them when they're in full bloom, and maybe you can put them into a pie. And this is our end result, our finished creation, Britania Fruit Pie, in the guise of a red, white and blue. And ideally I would have used strawberries, and admittedly putting that blue into pastry mix, that blue dye into pastry mix might not be such a good idea after all, but there it is. Britania Fruit Cake. This is a dessert made to eat cold, so I would advise putting it in the fridge and keeping it covered. And raspberries have a short shelf life, so you might want to eat it next couple of days. And that's it for now. Thanks for watching.